Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. And welcome to the last TBR video for 2022. It's hard to believe that we are entering the last month of the year. It's been quite a year for me personally. It hasn't been the best one. It has been quite a tough year actually. But we're here, we're at the end of it, and this is the last Tarot Picks My TBR video of the year. I still don't know how or if I'm going to change this TBR game coming on to 2023. But I am pretty happy with the videos that I have done this year. I am happy with my Tarot TBRs. I tried my best sticking with it. It didn't always work, but I feel like towards the end of the year I got a little bit better at it. And now I'm about to throw all of that away because my December TBR is absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to put it out there. This is a ridiculous amount of books and I don't really have any justification for it. I just have a lot of books that I want to read. I have recently put out a video called Top 10 Books I Want to Read Before the End of the Year. Some of those books might overlap in this TBR, obviously. And I also put top 10 nonfiction books that I want to get to soon. So not specifically towards the end of the year, but some of the nonfiction books that I'm trying to pick up in the next couple of months. I have a lot of library books that I'm going to show you. And to make this a little bit easier, I only picked 5 cards this month. Sometimes I pick 6, but this month I was just feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the amount of physical books that I have to get through. And therefore I only picked 5 cards, but I think that we still did a good job at making this huge and unattainable December TBR. So without further ado, let's just get into the card pulling. Hello and welcome to the card pulling section of the video. Here we have the Major Arcana and the Minor Arcana, and this month I'll be picking 5 cards like I mentioned, and I'll be picking 3 from this pile and only 2 from this one. So let's get started. Let's pick the first card. It is the Emperor. The first card that I picked was the Emperor, which is a card that I don't usually get. I'm not sure if I've ever gotten it in a TBR before. I probably have, but it's not a card that usually comes up. And this means to read one of the oldest books on my TBR. So not exactly the oldest, because sometimes when you specify that much, like, I'm still a little bit of a mood reader, so I need a little bit of space. And for this one, I did pick one of the oldest books that I have on my physical TBR because I'm trying to get through that. And that is REFERRAL by Journey Fueco. Like, this book has been on my TBR for, we're almost coming on to 2 years now, which is a lot for me. And I actually did try reading this once. I got to like 20 pages and I was just not really feeling it at the time. I wasn't really vibing with the writing style, but I just need to read this one. Either I need to keep it or I need to unhaul it because it's just taking up space when I could be switching it out for a new book that I'm interested in. And I've never really gotten what this book is about. I know that it's about our main character Therese, I'm not sure, and she was raised in isolation by this woman called the Lady, and her job is to kill the prince. Is it a prince? Yes. Her job is to kill the prince, the crown prince, once she gains his trust. Yeah, that's it. And a lot of people talk very highly about this duology. The second book has come out a long time ago. It's called The Redemptor, I think. And a lot of people just talk about it, and I want to, like I said, either get through it or unhaul it. And this is one of the oldest books I have on my TBR, and December will be the month for that. The font is huge. It's a little bit big, but the font is really big as well, so I think I'll get through this pretty nicely. And that's the first book that's on my December TBR. Let's pick the second card. Judgment. The next card that I got was the Judgment card, and this card is to read someone else's recommendation. It doesn't really specify who could make the recommendation, and I was just indecisive between picking a book that's like a general recommendation, generally talked about highly, or to pick a specific book. And the one that I did remember from my top 10 books I want to read before the end of the year is Night Crawling by Lila Motley. This is a book that D from the Heroine's Corner highly recommends, not specifically to me, but just overall, and I really love her recommendations, and this is a book that I wanted to get through, and it was one of the only ones that I could remember that someone specific had recommended. Like, does that make sense? I was just thinking about books that are highly talked about, but this one is a specific book recommendation that I am excited to get to. It's about a brother and sister, and I think that they have a little bit of financial trouble, I assume, and then the main character, whose name I don't remember, starts night crawling, and I think the book is about that. It has been highly praised. It is a debut novel, and I love supporting debut authors, and I just think that it's going to be a really, really good one, and I hope that I think it is, because I'm hoping that all the books that I read in December are like hits, or the majority of them are hits, because this reading year hasn't been the greatest so far in terms of quality, and I'm hoping that this TBR really, really gets me all the hits. And the third card from this pile, the Empress. The next card that I got is the Empress, and this card means read a book with beautiful cover. And for this one I picked All's Well by Mona Wad, another book that's on that video. Sorry about that. But some of the editions of this book are gorgeous, and though I don't own it physically, I'm very excited to read this one or listen to the audiobook. I'm still a little bit torn between those. If you can recommend me either the audiobook or the ebook, tell me if you liked the audiobook, because they're both on Scribd, and so I'm just struggling to pick the way to consume this particular story. It's a thriller by Mona Wad. I loved Bunny, not as much as everyone else did, but I give it a solid 4-star. And this is about a theater professor that is in an accident during one of her plays, I think, and then she becomes chronically ill, like she has chronic pain, and she's putting on this Shakespeare play of supposedly all that is well ends well. Is that it? I don't know. I think it's about a vengeance story. It smells like Dark Academia, right? We have a professor, we have Shakespeare, we have theater. And though I haven't read If We Were Villains or any of those, I think that this might be a good one to enter the thriller genre of the Dark Academia. And I'm very excited about it. I want to see what I think of it. A lot of people didn't like it as much as they liked Bunny, but I'm hopeful that this will be a good one and that I'll give it a higher rating. Our fourth card, the King of Cups. The next card that I got was the King of Cups, and a king means to read a book that intimidates me. Now, there are a lot of books that intimidate me, but this one in particular, and that is Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. And I made a mistake once to say that this book was Russian. It's actually Ukrainian, and it is a Dark Academia novel. Do I understand what it is about? No. It's about a woman named Sasha. Is it a woman? Yeah, a woman named Sasha, and then she goes to the Institute of Special Technologies, and she discovers that this is no ordinary school, and that the school uses terror and coercion to keep students in line. Should they transgress at all, their families pay a terrible price. So this book intimidates me because, one, it's a dark academia, which I haven't loved and I haven't read a lot of. And secondly, because it's huge and the font is like tiny. Like, this is tiny font to the max. And it is 400 pages, but I feel like it just has to be more because the font is so tiny. It's intimidating to me, and I'm going to use it for this card because there are other books that intimidate me, but at least this one is on that list of the books that I want to read before the end of the year. And I don't know what to think of this one. I don't know, but we're going to find out. And our final card of 2022 is going to be the Eight of Swords. The next card that I got is the Eight of Swords, and any 8 means to read a book that I have recently purchased. I haven't been buying a lot of books. I actually bought one. I bought Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson secondhand, and supposedly it's on its way to me. I was supposed to read it in November, but I was looking for a physical copy, and now I'm just waiting for it to arrive. So technically that book is also on my December TBR, but I don't want to put it officially on my December TBR because that just seems like a silly thing, right? It's on my November TBR, but it's also on my December TBR. So for this one, I'm cheating a little bit, and I'm choosing a library book because Lord knows I have a lot of those to get through, and I'll show you those in a second. But one of them I got is Black Cake by Tremaine Wilkerson, and this is also like a family heritage literary fiction. And this book is about, I think, a brother and sister as well, and their mother just recently died, and they find a recipe for the black cake, and also they discover that they have like a hidden sister that they didn't know about. And I've just recently read Love After Love by Ingrid Prasad, and I really love that book. And this is also a Caribbean story, and I love just like literary fiction and family heritage stories. I really appreciate those, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. I remember that when it first came out last year, I think, or was it this year? I don't know time, but I know that when it first came out, it didn't have the best ratings, but I still have high hopes that I'm going to enjoy it because it really is a niche subject that I really enjoy reading. So I'm hoping that this one is a hit. All right, so technically for my cards, that's all that I got, but I have a couple of other books that I want to show you. Most of them are from my library, and let's get started. These are also books that I want to read in December. The first one that I got is The Thursday Martyr Club by Richard Osman. I've been waiting for this to become available at my library so I could get it. This is a trilogy that everyone knows. The latest book has just come out, and everybody talks very highly about this one, and I'm just very excited. This is the book that I'm reading next. I've just started this one, but we're like at the end of November, so this is definitely going on to December. And I'm just very excited about it. It's about old people solving crimes, and we love to see it. Then I have Alice Munro's The View from Castle Rock. It has these deckled edges, which I love, and this is a collection of short stories. I think this is a very acclaimed author, but I've never read anything from them, and I think that this is a collection of her stories. So I think that this is sort of a memoir, or is it fictionalized stories? I'm not sure, but the cover really intrigued me, and this was at my library, and I just thought that this would be a great pick. If it is a memoir, I love memoirs, and if it's not, I also love short stories, so there's no way to lose here, and I'm very excited to get to this one. Another book that I just randomly saw at my library that really piqued my interest was Great Notes by Bernard McIlverty, and this was shortlisted for the Booker Prize of 1997. So talk about an oldie. And I'm not sure what this one is about. It really piques my interest. I don't know, I just really vibed with this cover. I think that it's about, I think it's like a contemporary, maybe like a literary fiction. I know it's about this lady, but what is it about? I don't know, but I'm excited to get to it. It just really spoke to me when I saw it, and if it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, that means it's gonna be good, right? Because the Booker Prize supposedly only picks the best book. So I'm excited about this one, and I'm sorry I can't give you a better synopsis. I also do not know what this is about. And finally, the bane of my existence and the object of my desires, Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Celine Tan. I picked this up from my library because this has been on several TBRs this year, and I will not let this fly. This will not be a book that I'm still need to read in 2023. This will get done this year, and this is also a beautiful cover, so I could have picked it for that. And I feel like everyone knows what the Daughter of the Moon Goddess is about. It's about the daughter of the moon goddess in Chinese culture, and I think that the daughter needs to go back to Earth and fix things. It's a romance. It has some fantasy elements. The second book has just come out and people have been raving about it, saying it's even better than this one. I'm very excited, and I will not let this slide into the next year. And finally, also a book that I mentioned in my non-fiction books that I want to get to, Atomic Habits by James Clear. What better time to learn about yourself and to break old habits and make new ones than in the new year, right? I want to read this in December so that I can make better choices for myself in 2023 and become the better version of me. Isn't that great? Everyone knows about this book. It's one of the most popular non-fictions in the world, I think. This is my brother's copy. I want to see what this is about, okay? I want to see what I can learn before I go into the new year dragging my old habits. That's it. That's all I have to say about this one. Okay, so like, are we nervous? Are we good? Because I'm nervous. Like, how am I going to read all of this in December? I have no idea, but I swear that I'm going to try my hardest because I want to end the year with a bang, and I want to read the most that I can this year. And I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get through all of this, but I'm hoping that I will. Anyway, that is my December TBR. I hope that you have a great reading month in December, and I hope that you've had a great reading year overall. Let me know which book you're most excited to read in December. And also, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.